The House will come to order, please. All members take their seats. All guests, please clear the aisle. Clerk, will you please unlock the machine? All members, please record their presence by pressing the green button. Okay. We will mark both of you present, and we will get you laptops. You didn't pick them up on the way in? Okay. All right, we'll get you the laptops, no worries. Clerk, please record Representative Quattrochi and Representative Price as present. Thank you. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 54 in the affirmative. We have a quorum. Please rise for the invocation to be given to us by Representative Caldwell, who will also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Representative Caldwell.
Thank you, Speaker. Dear Lord, we thank you for giving us the privilege of serving our citizens. Remind us to always treat our colleagues and constituents with the grace and dignity they deserve. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Representative. Next order of business is the approval of the journal. Is there any objection to the approval of the journal of the previous legislative day? Hearing none, so ordered. Clerk, do we have any communications? Please read.
Representative James N. McLaughlin is unable to attend session today, Tuesday, April 6, 2021. Representative Karen Alzate is unable to attend session today, Tuesday, April 6, 2021.
Thank you. Please place on file. Next order of business, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? There are none. New business. Is there any new business? Thank you. Representative Phillips with new business. Representative Morales with new business. Representative Donovan with new business. Any other new business? Thank you. The next order of business is today's calendar. Clerk, please read the first item on today's calendar.
Item number 1, House 5073.
Chairman McNamara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 5073 by myself would provide that the Council on Elementary and Secondary Education be encouraged to maintain, publish, and update statewide standards for instruction of personal finance in public high schools. Mr. Speaker, it's supported by the Rhode Island Department of Education, Co-op Credit Union, and the American Federation of Teachers. Mr. Speaker, this is critically important for the state of Rhode Island. We have one of the highest levels of student debt, a very high level of mortgage foreclosures, and this is kind of a new word that's come out, one of the highest unbanked populations in the United States. In my district alone, if you enter from Cranston going down Warwick Avenue, before you get a mile and a half in, you'll see 2 franchises for payday loans, national payday loan businesses that charge horrendous rates and take advantage of our citizens. For all of these reasons, I move passage of House Bill 5073.
Thank you. Chairman McNamara moves passage. Seconded by, please hit the purple button. Representative Carson, Representative Phillips, Representative Amore, Representative Speakman, Representative O'Brien, Representative Hawkins, Representative Bia, Representative Donovan, Chairman Abney, Leader Blazajewski, Representative Norrie, Chairman Craven, Representative Caldwell, Representative Cardillo, Representative Constantino, Chairwoman McEntee, Representative Cortravan, Representative Handy, Representative Agello, Representative Shawcross-Smith, Chairwoman Fogarty, Representative Kazar, Deputy Whip Ackerman, Chairman Hull, Chairman Bennett, Representative Kislak, Representative Filippi, Leader Filippi, Representative Henrys, Chairman Bennett, Representative Giraldo, Chairman Solomon, Representative Casimiro, Representative Potter, Whip Kazarian, Chairwoman Diaz, Chairwoman Ruggiero, Representative Magor, Representative Messier, Representative Nardone, Representative Felix, and Representative Perez. There are no other lights on the bill. Clerk, please unlock the machine. All those in the affirmative, please vote green. Any in the negative, please vote red. Leader Blazajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Rule 47 of the House Rules, I have proxy votes in favor of item number 1 from the following representatives: Rep. Alzate, Rep. Knight, Rep. Lombardi, Rep. McLaughlin, and Rep. Ranglin-Vassell. Thank you.
Thank you. Leader Filippi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Same request, yay on behalf of Representative Chippendale and yay on behalf of Representative Roberts, please.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you have your iPads? Thank you. Okay, everyone has voted. Clerk, please lock the machine. 70 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The act shall prevail. Thank you. Next docketed item, please, Clerk.
Senate 7-8 sub A.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Bennett.
Senate Bill 778 sub A by Senator Euer, the 2021 Act on Climate. The Committee on Environment and Natural Resources recommends indefinite postponement of the original bill and passage of the sub A in concurrence. The bill is identical to Bill 5445 sub A by Rep. Carson, which we passed by a vote of 53 to 21. It also passed in committee by a vote of 12 to 4 with 3 absent. The bill before us today is entitled the Act on Climate and will have significant impact on citizens for generations to come. The bill is the direct result of compromises and negotiations between all interested parties. All this bill does is update the bill we passed in 2014, 62 to 2. An interim plan must be submitted to the General Assembly by December 31st, 2022, giving this body oversight. Very simply, this bill requires the state to make a plan for the reduction of carbon emissions. It sets the dates for the plan. Although target dates are every 10 years, the council will update the plan every 5 years to be sure the targets are met. The bill will provide opportunities for jobs in the green economy. This is a good bill. It passed overwhelmingly in the Senate, 33 to 4. And for our children and grandchildren, I've moved passage.
Thank you. Chairman Bennett moves passage. All those seconding, please use the purple button on your iPad. Seconded by Representative Carson, Representative Speakman, Representative Henrys, Representative Donovan, Representative Morales, Chairwoman Ruggiero, Leader Blazajewski, Chairman Abney, Chairwoman McEntee, Representative Cortravan, Representative Handy, Representative Agello, Representative Shawcross-Smith, Chairwoman Fogarty, Representative Kazar, Floor Manager Edwards, Representative Kislak, Chairman McNamara, Chairman Hull, Representative Giraldo, Representative Potter, Representative Felix, Whip Kazarian, Representative Magor, and Representative Messier, and Chairwoman Diaz. Any other seconds? Thank you. The bill is in play. There are no lights on the bill. Clerk, would you please unlock the machine? All those in the affirmative, please vote green. Any in the negative, vote red. Leader Blazajewski. Any proxies, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Rule 47 of the House Rules, I have proxy votes in favor of item number 2. In favor from Rep. Alzate, Rep. Knight, Rep. Lombardi, and Rep. Ranglin Vassal, and I have a proxy vote against item number 2 from Rep. McLaughlin. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. Leader Filippi.
Same request in the negative, Representatives Chippendale and Roberts.
Thank you. Clerk, please lock the machine. There are 50 in the affirmative, 20 in the negative. The act shall prevail. Thank you. And that concludes today's calendar. Announcements and introductions. So we have a lot of lights, and I'm going to go back and forth, so it gives everybody a chance to, the staff to sanitize the microphones. Representative Amore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Rule 7D, and with your permission, I'll be introducing a bill tomorrow dealing with higher education. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Barrows.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I be marked as being present?
So ordered.
Thank you.
Chairman Corvesi. Excuse me, Chairman, 1 second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution which I'd like to have IC'd and read after the session. It's been okayed by the majority leader and the minority leader.
Please send it up. Thank you.
This is, if I may, this is honoring Leo Kovas for his years of dedicated service to the Rhode Island General Assembly. He served in Ledge Council for 25 years. He was an exemplary employee and did a fantastic job for us.
Thank you, Chairman. I know Leo, he'll be missed, and I wish him a happy retirement. And he's been a stellar employee for over 25 years. So, Leo, please enjoy your retirement, and thank you on behalf of all of us in the House for all the work you've done for us over the years. Thank you. Speaker Pro Tem Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have actually 2 resolutions. One of them is a House resolution expressing the sympathy on the passing of Francis A. Donahue, Jr. Francis was the husband of Betty Ann Donahue, for those of you who have been to law revision or who have had the good fortune of seeing her helping out in the Speaker's office. This was her husband. He passed away last week. So I'd like to have this read at the end of the session and left on the desk for additional signatures.
Thank you. Please send it up. And
then the
Betty Ann, I just want to take a moment, please, Speaker Pro Tem. Betty Ann's a wonderful person. I've gotten to know her over the last couple of years outside the Speaker's office. Always a pleasant smile and very hard worker. So we will keep her and her whole family in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Proceed.
And then, Mr. Speaker, the other one is a House resolution reaffirming, this is something we do every year, reaffirming the friendship between Rhode Island and Taiwan and supporting enacting bilateral relations for trade and other things with Taiwan as our partners. As you know, we did a Taiwan Day last year, just before everything shut down. Once again, they've come to us, and so with the consent of both the majority leader and minority leader, I'd like to have this on immediate consideration.
Thank you. Please send it up, and I remember that day well. We had the entertainment and the bubble tea. Thank you. Representative Batista.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the support of the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader, I have a resolution to submit declaring April of 2021 Financial Literacy Month in the state of Rhode Island. Every Rhode Islander deserves the opportunity to be financially secure. A core component of financial security is financial literacy. And what is financial literacy? Keeping a budget, building and maintaining credit, and understanding the basic vocabulary of saving, investing, and economics. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it has exposed the fact that too many Rhode Islanders and too many Americans are standing on too perilous a financial foundation. I urge my colleagues to support the resolution, which I will leave available on the table, and I urge all leaders across the state of Rhode Island, government, academia, business, nonprofits, to work together and ensure that all Rhode Islanders have access to strong financial literacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative. Please send that up. Representative Falella, and then Chairman Abney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. An adjournment, please.
Proceed.
If I could adjourn today in memory of Robert Bobby Trahan, a resident of Johnston. He'll be sadly missed. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Our condolences to you and his family. Chairman Abney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed.
The House Committee on Finance will meet in room 35 at the Rise.
Thank you, Chairman. Representative Giraldo.
Request, Mr. Speaker,
Proceed.
to be marked present for today, please.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Representative, Chairwoman Ruggiero.
Thank you, Speaker. With the consent of the majority and the minority leaders, I have a House resolution celebrating April as the month of the military child in Rhode Island. All 50 states commemorate our military children and recognize the service of their parents. Most military children attend 6 to 9 different schools before they reach the 12th grade. I represent Middletown along with my colleague, Rep. Cortvryn, and the Middletown School District serves the largest number of military students in the state, 26% of our student population. So thank you to these students and their parents for the service to our country, and I ask that we put this on the desk so other colleagues could also sign. Thank you for the floor, Speaker.
Thank you. Please send it up. Representative Moore, I don't know if it's Fenton Fung or Casimiro. Oh, man, it was Representative Morgan. I'm sorry. Representative Morgan.
Thank you, Speaker. Can I be marked in the affirmative on item 1?
So ordered.
And in the negative on item 2?
Same.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Representative Agello.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed. Just a moment, please. Thank you.
On next legislative day, pursuant to Rule 7D, I will introduce legislation regarding fair housing.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Fenton Fung.
I got it first. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a resolution for immediate consideration with the permission of the majority and minority leaders, commemorating April 4th through 10th as National Library Week in the state of Rhode Island. Libraries have been doing a wonderful job during the pandemic. Here in Cranston, our libraries run citizenship classes, coding classes, and they've been actually going out into the community, even helping people set up appointments for vaccines. So I'm very happy to celebrate the wonderful work our libraries do here in Cranston and the entire state. Also an announcement, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Pursuant to Rule 70, on the next legislative day, I'll be introducing legislation on incentivizing back to work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative. Chairman Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Speaker. Adjournment. I'd like to adjourn in the name of Edward J. Cunningham, 90 years old, of Punta Gorda, Florida. Summer resident of Wakefield. He lived his early life in Warwick. I'm very close friends with his son, John. He leaves 2 sons, 3 daughters, and 15 grandchildren.
Thank you. And our condolences to him and his family. Representative Casimiro, please.
Thank you, Speaker. With the permission of House leadership, I have a House resolution for immediate consideration commemorating April of 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the state of Rhode Island. It's urging all Rhode Islanders to support efforts that promote children's psychological, physical, and emotional development. I ask that it be read later and left on the desk for more signatures.
Thank you. Please send it up. We'll be happy to do that. Chairwoman Bella Wilkinson, please.
A request, please, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I ask that my attendance be recorded in the Daily Journal, please.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Deputy Speaker Lima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two things. May we go back to new business? I have the income tax bill. I got over 60 signatures. Maybe we could do immediate consideration. I know the minority leader wouldn't object.
You can put it into the new business. Did you 7D it last week?
And yes, under 7D, I have legislation, in case I missed anybody, naming the airport Providence TF Green International. I'll be handing that in tomorrow.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
Chairman McNamara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request, please.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would like to respectfully request that we adjourn, Mr. Speaker, in memory of one of your constituents, Gregory Lynch, who passed away on Good Friday. Greg was the brother of Brian Lynch, a longtime employee in the Legislative Proofing Office. He lived in Warwick, Mr. Speaker, for 25 years after growing up in Providence. He proudly served our country in the Army and worked as an accountant for many years. Mr. Speaker, as you know, he was a humble man who asked for so little but gave so much. His favorite charity was St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and he often dropped off canned goods to the local food pantry. Among his numerous acts of kindness, Greg will be missed by Brian and his 6 other siblings. Our sympathy goes out to the entire Lynch family. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. He was a constituent of mine, and Brian works for us at the General Assembly. And our condolences to Brian and his family and his brother especially. Wonderful people. Known them for a long time. Thank you. Representative Tansey, please.
Objection, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to be recorded in the affirmative on items 1 and 2.
So ordered.
And seconding item number 2, if I may.
So ordered. Thank you. Representative Henrys.
An announcement, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
I would just like to take a moment to wish my grandfather, endearingly known as Poppy, a very happy 79th birthday. He is well known locally as a musician. He's most known for his incredible sax playing. He's a baritone sax player, and I love him very much. So just wanted to send that out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and happy birthday, Poppy. Congratulations. I'm sure he's very proud of your achievements. Representative Kazar, please.
Thank you. A resolution, Speaker?
Proceed.
All right. So the resolution, with the support of House leadership, is commemorating the week of April 5th through April 11th as National Public Health Week. In the state of Rhode Island, every year, the American Public Health Association sponsors this week, and this year's theme is the Building Bridges to Better Health. And building on the progress and awareness that was raised during the pandemic, we look forward to making sure that everyone acknowledges with their family and communities the need for a strong public health infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative. Please send it up. Representative Slater, and then Representative Tabone.
Request, Speaker? Could I be recorded in the affirmative on item number 1?
So ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Tabone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have an adjournment.
Proceed.
And if I could just share a few words. The people of Pawtucket on Easter lost a...
Just one moment, please.
Sure.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Well, let me just say that while Easter is a day of celebration for many, it was started off as a celebration for a family in Pawtucket that unfortunately we lost one of the good ones. The American promise creates the American dreams, and in this particular case, a family from Ghana, the Ampuntas, they came to Rhode Island and settled in Pawtucket. For 35 years, I got to go to Alma's Variety and see that family and see Alma welcoming everybody with that beautiful smile and just saying, baby, how can I help you? Always supportive, not just of me, but of so many. She was always involved in our community, and in September, she won her primary to become a council person. She served our community in one more capacity, but what she had been doing for years and years in that little corner. Today, Isaac, her husband, Alethea, Isaac Jr., and Jermaine, they can be proud of what Alma leaves for all of us in Pawtucket. And she battled a condition that eventually on Easter, on her birthday, took her from us and from Earth. But I'll always be grateful for Alma, and I speak on behalf of so many people in Pawtucket who got to experience and witness the love and affection that was just so contagious and so genuine. I can keep going, but what I'm going to do is introduce a resolution on her untimely passing, and it's on behalf of all of the members of the Pawtucket delegation. Mr. Speaker, thank you, and if we could please adjourn the memory of Mama Alma Mpunza from Pawtucket, Councilwoman. Thank you.
Thank you. I know she was near and dear to so many in Pawtucket, and the city has suffered a loss. Please send that up, and our condolences to her family, please. Chairwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have an announcement.
Proceed.
With the concern of the majority leader and minority leader, I have a IC resolution proclaiming the month of April 2021 to be the Community Health Workers Month in the state of Rhode Island. And it's in behalf of so many community workers that are visiting our residents all over the state to be sure they are vaccinated and they have the information they need to be in good health. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairwoman. And the last light for announcements introduction, Leader Blazajewski, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Announcement, please.
Proceed.
First, Speaker, pursuant to Rule 70, I announce on your behalf that on the next legislative day, you'll be introducing legislation concerning reapportionment. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, as a reminder to everybody, we are meeting here tomorrow at 4 p.m. at the Vets. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, here at the Vets. The schedule change was made because the Vets is unavailable for our use on Thursday. So again, our session will be here tomorrow, Wednesday, not Thursday this week. And additionally, Mr. Speaker, please, everyone in the chamber, ladies and gentlemen, please email your proxy votes to either myself or Leader Philippi no later than 3:30 p.m. on the day of the floor votes, even earlier if possible. And if there is a consent calendar, please indicate how you wish to vote on the consent calendar as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader. I have a resolution. I have several resolutions. I have a Resolution from Representative Kazar, seconded by myself, Lito Blazajewski, and many others, commemorating the week of April 5th through April 11th as National Public Health Week. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. I have a House resolution by Representative Casimiro, seconded by myself, Lito Blazajewski, commemorating April of 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the state of Rhode Island, and urging all Rhode Islanders to support efforts that promote children's psychological, physical, and emotional development. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. I have a House resolution proclaiming April to be the month of the military child by Chairwoman Ruggiero, seconded by Representative Cortravin, Carson, Abney, McNamara, McGaugh, Batista, Azanaro, Filippi, and Blazajewski. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. I have a House resolution proclaiming April's a busy month. Proclaiming April to be Financial Literacy Month in the state of Rhode Island. Moved by Representative Batista, seconded by several others. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. I have a House resolution reaffirming the friendship between Rhode Island and Taiwan and supporting the enhanced bilateral trade relations between Taiwan's international participation in the United States, moved by myself and several others. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. I have a House resolution expressing sincere sympathy on the passing of Francis Donahue by myself, Lito Blazajewski, Representative Fenton Fung, and Speaker Pro Tem Kennedy. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? I have a House resolution by Chairman Corvese honoring Leo Kovis for his years of dedicated service to the Rhode Island General Assembly, seconded by myself, Representative O'Brien, Lito Blazajewski. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. I have a House resolution from Lito Blazajewski, seconded by Lita Filippi, extending congratulations. And I have a House resolution expressing condolences, also by Lita Blazajewski, and also seconded by Lita Filippi. I have a House resolution expressing condolences on the untimely passing of the Honorable Amma Ambassador, moved by Representative Tobin and seconded by the entire Pawtucket delegation. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. I have a House resolution proclaiming April to be the Community Health Workers Month in the state of Rhode Island, moved by Chairwoman Diaz and seconded by many others. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. I have a House resolution commemorating April 4th to April 10th as National Library Week in the state of Rhode Island, moved by Representative Fenton Fung, seconded by many others. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Is there any objection to transmitting all matters on the clerk's desk to His Excellency the Governor, the Honorable Senate, or the Secretary of State forthwith? Hearing none, so ordered. Lita Blazajewski moves that the House adjourn in memory of Edward Cunningham, Robert Trahan, Francis Donahue, Gregory Lynch, and Amma Ampasa, seconded by Lita Filippi. All those please stand for a moment of silence. The House is adjourned. The desk shall remain open. Thank you.
House resolution commemorating April of 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the state of Rhode Island, and urging all Rhode Islanders to support efforts that promote the children's psychological, physical, and emotional development. Whereas our children are our most vulnerable citizens and ensuring their safety is imperative in the health and future of Rhode Island. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a troubling problem impacting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas child abuse includes physical, sexual, and emotional abuse as well as neglect. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas Rhode Island Kids Count reports that in 2019, there were 2,249 indicted investigations of child abuse and neglect in Rhode Island. And whereas in 2020, the Crime Victims Compensation Program approved 181 claims for minor victims, an additional 44 claims for minors who witnessed acts of domestic violence. And whereas every child deserves to be loved, every child deserves to be safe and supported, every child deserves the opportunity to excel and thrive. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas communities must work to increase awareness about child abuse and promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month that aims to recognize the importance of communities working together to help families thrive and prevent child maltreatment. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby commemorates April of 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and urges all Rhode Islanders to support efforts that promote children's psychological, physical, and emotional development. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to the Honorable Daniel J. McKee, Governor of the State of Rhode Island, the Director of the Rhode Island Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and the Rhode Island Chapter of Bikers Against Child Abuse. House Resolution commemorating April 4th through the 10th, 2021 as National Library Week in the state of Rhode Island. Whereas libraries of all types are at the heart of their cities, towns, schools, and campuses serving the communities of Rhode Island. And whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that foster a sense of belonging and community. And whereas today's libraries and their services extend far beyond the four walls of a building, and everyone is welcome to use their resources. And whereas for people lacking broadband at home, libraries provide access to computers and Wi-Fi, even checking out internet hotspots and laptops. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are diverse as the communities they serve and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas in times of crises, libraries, librarians, and library workers play an invaluable role in supporting their communities both in person and virtually. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic statewide shutdown, Rhode Island's libraries pivoted to provide virtual programs to the community, including virtual story time, book discussions, reference services, and technology help for parents and students, and also significantly expanded access to digital resources, including e-books and lifelong learning tools, to continue to serve the needs of residents who were and those who continue to be unable to visit the library in person. And whereas, in addition, during the COVID-19 pandemic, libraries expanded outdoor parking lot Wi-Fi networks to help provide high-speed internet access to those who do not have it available in their homes. And whereas Rhode Island's public libraries began to reopen to the public in June of 2020 and provided curbside and in-person pickup of library materials and access to public computers, now therefore be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby joins the libraries, librarians, library workers, supporters, and advocates across the nation in commemorating National Library Week on April 4th through the 10th, 2021. We furthermore thank Rhode Island's libraries and library workers for their service to our communities, encourage all residents to visit their local library to access these valuable resources and services, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to Ed Garcia, Cranston Public Libraries, and the Rhode Island Library Association. Can you give these to to Stacy? She needs. Oh, I got it. I'll be fine.
Sure, I don't mind.
Yeah. House resolution proclaiming April 2021 to be the moment of the military child in Rhode Island. Whereas across our nation and here in the state of Rhode Island, children in military families sacrifice much in order to allow their parents to serve our nation and protect our liberty. In this month of April, people are encouraged to show support for our military and veteran children and to thank them for their strength and sacrifices they have made to continue to make. And whereas approximately 2 million military children in the United States have experienced a parental deployment since 2001, and currently 1.2 million have an active duty parent worldwide. The average military student faces transition challenges more than twice during high school, and most military children attend 6 to 9 different school systems from kindergarten through the 12th grade. Taking care of our military children sustains our nation's fighting force and strengthens the health and safety of our nation's families and communities. And whereas the Middletown School District serves the largest number of military kids in the state, with approximately 600 military-connected students, amounting to 26.5% of the student population. And whereas April 21st is also Purple Up for Military Kids Day, this month of April is a time to recognize the service and sacrifices of our military members, their families, and especially their children. They deserve our support. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby proclaims April 2021 to be the month of the military child in Rhode Island. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to the Middletown School Committee and the Middletown School Superintendent, Rosemarie Krager, Chairwoman of the Military Interstate Children's Compact Commission. House resolution proclaiming April of 2021 to be Financial Literacy Month in the state of Rhode Island. Whereas every Rhode Islander deserves the opportunity to achieve financial security and stability, regardless of zip code or background. And whereas the economic and health impacts of COVID-19 have highlighted the compounded financial disparities in our nation and state. And whereas too many Rhode Islanders are struggling with financial challenges at a rate higher than their national peers. And whereas too many Rhode Islanders have unequal access to financial education, and this has contributed to racial wealth and income gaps that persist in our society. And whereas individuals with strong personal finance skills have the knowledge to make informed decisions regarding budgeting, maintaining strong credit, savings, investing, and protecting and insuring their assets. And whereas governments, private businesses, community-based organizations, and institutions of education must work together to empower consumers to make informed decisions about their finances, appropriately planned for economic instability, and avoid deceptive or predatory practices. And whereas General Treasurer Magazina launched the Rhode Island Financial Empowerment Roundtable, which regularly brings together representatives from government, nonprofits, education, businesses, and banking to network and share ideas on how to encourage economic growth and financial stability among Rhode Islanders. And whereas there is a strong coalition of organizations, passionate educators, and invested individuals working tirelessly to expand financial literacy and personal finance education in Rhode Island schools. And whereas Rhode Island should endeavor to expand the availability of personal finance education, because teaching financial skills to students gives them more economic opportunity. And whereas strengthening the financial skills of all Rhode Islanders is an investment in the fundamental promise of a brighter future and building a more prosperous nation. April is National Financial Literacy Month, during which Rhode Island highlights its commitment to teaching ourselves and our children about the basics of financial education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the state of Rhode Island hereby proclaims April 2021 to be Financial Literacy Month in the state of Rhode Island. We moreover urge all Rhode Islanders to take advantage of various programs and activities that will increase their personal financial literacy both during the month of April and throughout the year. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to the Rhode Island Jumpstart Coalition. House resolution reaffirming the friendship between Rhode Island and Taiwan and supporting enhanced bilateral trade relations and Taiwan's international participation. Whereas the United States and the Republic of China, Taiwan, share a vibrant bilateral relationship marked by a mutually beneficial partnership. Since 1979, the Taiwan Relations Act has provided a strong foundation for sustaining substantial relations between the United States and Taiwan, including Taiwan and Rhode Island through continued exchanges, engagement, and cooperation rooted in our common value of freedom, democracy, the rule of law, and a free market economy, thereby assuring a bright future in our bilateral relationship. And whereas President Tsai Ing-wen has worked tirelessly to safeguard democracy and way of life in Taiwan, ensuring the prosperity of Taiwan's 24 million people, and expressed commitment to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. And whereas the United States Departments of Commerce, Agriculture, and State, in a formal letter sent to the governor of all 50 states dated September 30th, 2019, stated that, quote, expanding relations with Taiwan in areas such as trade, education, investment, and tourism is fully compatible with and supports U.S. policy and can be beneficial to your state. And whereas President Tsai has expressed Taiwan's desire to reach a bilateral trade agreement with the United States, and the United States Senate unanimously passed the Taiwan Allies International Protection and Enhancement Initiative Act of 2019 on November 28, 2019, affirming that the United States should emerge in bilateral trade negotiations with Taiwan. And whereas the Taiwan government has donated 135,000 surgical masks and 5,000 N95 masks to the state of Rhode Island to assist in the fight against COVID-19, demonstrating that Taiwan is a responsible stakeholder and should be included in the World Health Organization and the World Health Assembly. And whereas the United States ranks as Taiwan's second largest trading partner, and Taiwan is the 10th largest trading partner of the United States, with bilateral trade in goods and services amounting to approximately $90 billion in 2020, which helped create or support approximately 373,288 United States jobs. And whereas New England exported more than $1 billion in goods to Taiwan, in which Rhode Island exported $24 million in goods, making Taiwan the 17th largest export market of Rhode Island in the world and the 6th largest export market in Asia in 2018. And whereas Taiwan and the United States seek to increase trade and investment through bilateral agreements and discussions of possibly opening a joint trade office in Taipei to include Rhode Island, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont, that will further enhance bilateral opportunities and Rhode Island exports to Taiwan. And whereas, being a key transport hub in the Asia-Pacific region, Taiwan's inclusion in international organizations such as the World Health Organization, International Criminal Police Organization, and the International Civil Aviation Organization is imperative for the best interest and safety of the international community. In addition, Taiwan's participation in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is necessary in the global effort to combat climate change. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby supports a stronger United States-Taiwan relationship under the Biden administration, including the signing of a bilateral trade agreement, and seeks to further strengthen the Rhode Island-Taiwan partnership, and encourages Rhode Island state government to further explore ways to strengthen and promote bilateral exchange between the state of Rhode Island and Taiwan in all areas, including signing a memorandum of understanding with Taiwan regarding bilateral economic and trade exchange and cooperation. And be it further resolved that this House hereby supports Taiwan's participation in international organizations and agreements, including the WHO, the WHA, Interpol, the UNFCCC, and the ICAU. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to the Honorable Joseph R. Biden, President of the United States, the Rhode Island delegation to the United States Congress, the Honorable Daniel McKee, Governor of the State of Rhode Island, President Tsai Ing-wen, Republic of China, Taiwan, and Director General Jonathan Sun, Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Boston. House resolution proclaiming the month of April 2021 to be Community Health Workers Month in the state of Rhode Island. Whereas community health workers are professional non-clinicians who seek to promote the community's voice within the healthcare system. They provide a forum to share resources and strategies and advocate for underserved populations while maintaining health services more culturally and linguistically appropriate. And whereas community health workers professionals work to improve access to health care and advance health equity and self-sufficiency through a range of activities, including outreach, community education, counseling, and social support, with an overall goal of eliminating health disparities based on race, ethnicity, gender, and class. And whereas community health worker professionals improve workforce diversity, a critical step in achieving health equity. And whereas the community health worker workforce is an apprenticeable profession according to the Rhode Island State Department of Labor and Training and the Rhode Island Department of Health. Now, therefore, be resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby proclaims April 2021 to be Community Health Workers Month in the state of Rhode Island. We furthermore thank them for the significant and important contributions they make towards improving the quality of life for the citizens of our state. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Danny Catherine Ritchie, Brown University Center for Primary Care and Prevention. House resolution expressing sincere sympathy on the passing of Francis A. Donahue, Jr. Whereas it is with deep sadness that this House has learned of the passing of Francis A. Donahue, Jr., the beloved husband of our friend and colleague, Betty Ann Donahue, and the cherished father of Holly Donahue. And whereas born in Providence, Frank Donahue was the son of the late Veronica and Francis Donahue, Sr., and the brother of Joseph Donahue and his wife Carol and John Donahue. He also shared a warm friendship with his wife's sisters and their husbands, Barbara and Aldo Testa, and Susan and Stephen Dolan. And whereas Mr. Donahue was a graduate of Providence College and received a graduate degree from the University of Rhode Island, he was employed at the Rhode Island Department of Health in healthcare management, where he held numerous management positions to the benefit of many Rhode Islanders. And whereas upon leaving the Department of Health, Mr. Donahue utilized his experience and expertise in a panoply of positions, including as the Executive Director of the Rhode Island chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Rhode Island Pharmacists Association, the Trudeau Center Early Intervention Program, Kids First Program, Rhode Island Child Opportunity Zone Program, the Rhode Island Psychological Association, in the Rhode Island Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. And whereas, in addition, Mr. Donahue taught at the Warren Alpert School of Medicine at Brown University, the Health Policy and Management Program at Providence College, and the Graduate Program in Public Administration at Roger Williams University. Throughout his career, he served as a mentor and role model, providing guidance and encouragement to the students and fellow colleagues. And whereas altruistic by nature, Mr. Donahue was a volunteer with myriad organizations and boards, including the New England chapter of the Ignatian Volunteer Corps, and was devoted to God and the Catholic faith throughout his lifetime. And whereas Frank Donahue was blessed with the total love of a devoted wife and family and the loyal and rewarding camaraderie of many dear friends, he was a kind and generous gentleman, and he will be deeply missed by all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby extends deepest condolences to the family of Francis A. Donahue, Jr., and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mrs. Betty Ann Donahue and family. House resolution honoring Leo D. Kovas, Esquire, for his years of dedicated service to the Rhode Island General Assembly. Whereas Leo David Kovas was born on March 24, 1952, many of his early years in education were in the state of Florida until returning to Rhode Island, where he attended Providence College. He continued his education, earning his Juris Doctor cum laude from Suffolk University Law School. And whereas for many years, Leo made his home in the town of Coventry, where from 1984 through 1990, he maintained a private practice through the office of Leo Kovas. From 1982 through 1990, he also practiced through law offices in East Providence. He had subsequently worked at Connors and Gilchrist law firms in Providence and at Grilli and DeMayo law firm. And whereas, to the good fortune of the General Assembly, Leo joined the staff of the Legislative Council on February 1st, 1988, as a full-time legislative legal counsel. Over his years, his experience and expertise guided many of the newer lawyers in the office, and he was promoted to the position of bill drafting supervisor, overseeing bills before they were introduced on the floor. Whereas during his tenure in Legislative Council, Leo assisted in revamping the workers' compensation system, an arduous and major accomplishment. In 2001, he shortened his work hours to part-time, but continued to be one of the office's premier reviewers, and in April of 2021, he retired. And whereas Leo is a member of numerous professional organizations, including the Rhode Island Bar, the Pawtucket Bar Association, the Phi Alpha Delta Fraternity, and was a former member of the Rhode Island Trial Lawyers Association. And whereas Leo now makes his home in North Providence with his ever-faithful companion, Nico, a rambunctious and adorable rescue pup. He also recently became captain and owner of Ledge Council, a power boat he docks in Cranston. Whereas Leo's retirement has left very big shoes to fill in Legislative Council, and he is surely missed by all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby recognizes and thanks Leo Kovas for his diligent efforts in the service in the General Assembly and the State of Rhode Island. We moreover wish him happiness and fulfillment, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mr. Leo D. Kovas. House Resolution commemorating the week of April 5th through April 11th of 2021 as National Public Health Week in the state of Rhode Island. Whereas the week of April 5th through April 11th of 2021 is National Public Health Week, and the theme is Building Bridges to Better Health. And whereas since 1995, the American Public Health Association, through its sponsorship of the National Public Health Week, has educated the public, policymakers, and public health professionals about issues important to improving the public's health. And whereas life expectancy in the United States dropped from 2014 to 2017 in the longest sustained decline since the Great Depression. And only in 2018 did life expectancy begin to increase again. Further studies consistently show that the United States has a lower life expectancy than comparable countries. And whereas there is a significant difference in health status, such as obesity, poor mental health, and drug use among people living in rural areas compared with people living in urban areas. And this variance increases because rural residents are more often likely to face social determinants that negatively impact health, such as poverty, transportation barriers, and lack of economic opportunity. Whereas public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks such as the COVID-19 pandemic, measles, surveillance and control systems. And whereas public health action, together with scientific and technological advances, has played a major role in reducing and in some cases eliminating the spread of infectious disease and establishing today's disease surveillance and control systems. And whereas 6 in 10 United States adults have a chronic disease and 4 in 10 have 2 or more, and health issues such as alcoholism, obesity, and tobacco use are the primary reasons for 7 of every 10 deaths annually in the United States. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has illuminated and exacerbated racial inequalities, and a growing number of local governments, state governments, and public health leaders have declared racism a public health crisis. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby commemorates the week of April 5th through April 11th of 2021 as National Health Week, and calls upon the people of Rhode Island to use the observation of this week to help our families, friends, neighbors, and co-workers and leaders to better understand the value of public health and support great opportunities to adopt preventative lifestyle habits in light of this year's theme, Building Bridges to Better Health. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Director Nicole Alexander Scott, Rhode Island Department of Health. House resolution expressing condolences on the untimely passing of the Honorable Amma Ampasar. Whereas it is with deep sadness that this House has learned of the untimely passing of the Honorable Amma Ampasar, beloved wife of Isaac Ampasar, the cherished mother of Althea Ampasar, Isaac Ampasar Jr., and Jermaine Ampasar, and the newly elected and well-respected 5th Ward Pawtucket City Councilwoman. And whereas Councilwoman Ampasar and her husband immigrated to the United States from Ghana in the early 1980s, she was a longtime resident of the Woodlawn neighborhood in the city of Pawtucket and attended the Community College of Rhode Island. And whereas Mama Amma, as she was affectionately known by all, was the owner and operator of Amma's Variety and Mini Mart, a mainstay in the community and a local gathering spot for the past 32 years. And whereas Amma's belief was that she was blessed to have lived the American dream, to come here as an immigrant, work hard, raise a family, and own a successful business that serves my community's needs. And whereas Councilor Ampasar's love for her neighbors and the community and her desire to help led to her decision to run for a seat on the City Council, and her service for 8 years as a Sergeant-at-Arms for the Pawtucket City Council gave her a unique understanding of the process. And whereas, in addition to her family and her time on the council, Councilor Ampasar had been very active with volunteer work on numerous altruistic endeavors. She was a former hospice volunteer, was on the St. Mary's Church Finance Committee and St. Mary's Church Sunday School teacher, and a member of the Diocese of Providence Pastoral Council and the Pawtucket Prevention Coalition. And whereas described by her neighbors as a superwoman and beloved, Councilor Ampasar surely left Pawtucket a far better place because of her life's endeavors, and her integrity and determination enriched the lives of all who knew her and set a standard for excellence in public service that is an inspiration to us all. She will be deeply missed, Now, therefore, be it resolved that this House of Representatives of the State of Rhode Island hereby expresses its deepest sympathies on the passing of the Honorable Ama Amponsah, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be and hereby is authorized and directed to transmit a duly certified copy of this resolution to Mr. Isaac Amponsah and family.
Thank you.